Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. This is Jay from Illusion TV, and today we received the new Pixelbook GO from Google, and we're gonna go through it real quick and give you some honest opinions of what we thought about it. So let's get to it. Okay, so one of the things that you're immediately going to notice when you pick up this thing is that the materials, the fit and finish of it. Google has used a magnesium case enclosure with a just black painted surface, and it feels really nice in the hands, and you can tell it's really well made. Going over the unit on the back of it, you can see how there's like this nice ribbed construction that's in place to help you add like grip to the unit. This way, you know, you could pick it up and go. So the trackpad is made out of glass, and it's that similar that you'll find of like a MacBook, say. It's very smooth. It says that it's treated with a smudge resistant coating. I guess you would need that in case you have like oily fingers. In general, using the trackpad to like, you can pinch to zoom, you could swipe up, you could swipe down. It's really nice. It's very fluid. So they did a really good job with the trackpad. Now going over to the screen, it is a 1080p screen on this unit that I have here. I have the Core i5 processor, 8GB of RAM, and 128GB SSD. And so far, I gotta say that the screen is very nice. It is a 1080p, but you know, just viewing like 4K video content on YouTube, basically just to kind of show it off. You could see like that, you know, the colors really pop off the screen. It's got really fine detail. Overall, I think it's a really good screen to have on a computer like this. All right, so now I want to talk about the keyboard. Moving on, the keyboard, Google touts this as having like a hush keyboard, and the keyboard's supposed to be really soft to the touch. They have very nice travel, and while they're not completely silent, they are very quiet compared to a regular keyboard that kind of like clacks away. They have nice travel on them, and overall just a nice soft response as you're typing. So I really like the keyboard. People say that it's supposed to be like one of the best keyboards on the market. I can see that as being true. So next I want to talk about the battery life. Now the battery life is rated for a 12-hour all-day use. In my testing, I want to say that that's very close. I've gotten about 9 to 10 hours, but that's going to be with playing games, watching movies, listening to like Spotify, and as well as the regular web surfing. But one thing that's really cool about this is that it's a USB-C port on each side. It has two of them. So basically on one side, you're going to have a USB Type-C all by itself. And then if you look on the other side, you're going to have a USB Type-C right next to a 3.5mm headphone jack. That's also really nice to see, especially when so many devices are kind of eliminating that port. So if you haven't moved to like a Bluetooth headset and you're still using wired guys, you should be good. Okay, so a cool thing about the battery also is that it comes with quick charge. So they're saying that a 10-minute charge with the Pixelbook will get you 1 hour of use. So I think that that's really cool. Side note, that is only with the supplied 45-watt USB charger. If you use like a mobile charger, it's going to charge really slow. That's something I also realize, is that you have to use the one that came in the box. Any USB Type-C will charge, just if it's not the right wattage, it's going to charge at a slower rate. Okay, so looking back at the computer's chassis, you could see that there's these nice speaker grills on the top surface. Now, these are housing some amazing speakers. I do not know what size they are, but I will tell you right now, they get very loud. And not only do they get really loud, but they're like really immersive. Like when I was watching a movie or playing a game with them, and I had them like 3/4 of the way up, it just sounded like surround sound, and like they sounded really good, like better than my 15-inch MacBook Pro. And those are touted to be one of the best speakers on any laptop. But I think that the speakers on this computer blow them away. So they did a really good job on the speakers in this computer, especially considering it's only 1/2 inch thin. So that brings me to the dimensions of this computer. It's 12 by 8 by 1/2 inch. So this thing is like super thin, super lightweight, and I could see this being a really nice computer to just kind of take around with you wherever you go. It doesn't weigh anything. In fact, when you pick it up, you actually can't believe how light it really is. Now, I want to also talk about something that is new to me. So I've been an Apple user for the past 8 to 10 years. Now, one thing that I notice is that now everything is SSD, right? But even my MacBook takes about 10 seconds to start up, you know, when you first open it up or when you first power it on. One thing I realized about the Google Pixelbook Go is that once you hit that power button, it's almost instantaneously on. And all you have to do is kind of like log in with your password, which you can change to a PIN to make it a little bit faster. You know, as far as getting up and going, the longest part about that is kind of entering in your credentials. But you know what? That keeps everything safe. So we're not going to complain about that. Now, speaking about keeping everything safe, this computer comes with Google's Titan C chip. Now, this chip is supposed to keep you safe, especially from hardware-based attacks. Google actually uses the Titan technology to protect their own servers. So that should be a good kind of example of how good the Titan technology really is. In my experience from the couple times of using the webcam, it seemed okay. Like, it wasn't mind-blowing, right? But that's to be expected today, I guess. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. I wish it did a little bit better with low light. If you don't have like a perfectly lit situation, the webcam, it's going to be a little dark. And that kind of reminds me about webcams like from back in the day. Okay, so really quick, I want to go over the different models that they have available. At $649, they have an Intel Core M3, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 64 gigabyte solid state drive. Then you go up a model, and for $849, which is the model we're testing here today, is going to give you a Core i5 processor. It's going to give you 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabyte solid state drive. Now, there is another variation for $100 more, the same specs as the one that we're looking at today, and it just bumps it up. For that $100, it doubles your RAM to 16 gigabytes. Now, on top of that, there is a version for $1399, and that's going to give you a Core i7 processor. It's going to give you 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabyte hard drive. So as of today, November 15, 2019, that model is currently not available. It just says coming soon on the website. Now, I've downloaded a couple of apps over the last couple of days. I've downloaded a couple of games. Some games actually display really well on the screen and they work really well with the computer. There are other games that would just crash right away or they just wouldn't load. Now, Amazon and Facebook have apps. I've installed those as well. Now, when you first open them up, they're going to be in like a phone or a tablet aspect. But if you hit the expand window, it will stretch it out to kind of fill the screen of the Pixelbook. Now, to me, the downside, like I said, is that these apps were not designed to be working in a computer-based environment. And I feel like that's where the experience stops as far as expandability. Google really needs to get a hold on how they put guidelines in for the developers so that this way when they develop things going forward, it's obviously there's a lot of people out there with Chromebooks, so it would be nice to see developers redesign versions of apps or even create new apps that are designed for that Pixelbook or Chromebook experience. So as of now, with today, the price tag of $850, it's a little pricey. I mean, actually, it's a lot pricey for this Pixelbook Go. I would say that unless you're a Chromebook fan, to go for the $649 version, because I feel like adding more horsepower and more specs to it, unless there's a certain game that's very demanding that you like to play, I think the $649 version is going to be just fine for everybody. Once you start stepping up, the price really starts to get steep, and I just don't know how much it's worth it the way things are with the Play Store and, you know, not being able to run full programs. Overall, I think it's great. If you're a Chromebook fan and you have the money to spend, I say go out, pick it up, give it a try. You never know, you might fall in love with it or you might not like it. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I do tutorials and reviews just like this one, and I always try to get the best information out to you guys. Now, if there's anything in this video that I didn't cover and you have questions, you can leave comments down below and I will get back to you. Alright guys, until next time, I want to say be well and I'll catch you later.